So what I've done here, I've just loosened the volume pot. I'm just going to put a rag under that just to protect the finish. And I've got a little template I use for soldering just to keep the pots in place. You don't really need anything like that. You could use a section of the foam lid that your guitar actually came in if you need. And one of the next things we need to do is tin our wires. Because I've already tinned the end of the soldering iron, I'm just going to run the edge of these wires just through the solder, and that should give us a nice coating of solder on that wire, which should help bond or help the connection. So our first wire is our ground wire. We need to stick that to the back of the pot. So what I'm going to do is just get some solder. Now your kit should come with more than enough solder. Make sure you're doing this to the volume pot, not the tone pot. The way to tell the tone pot is the one with the capacitor attached to it. So I'm just trying to leave a little puddle of solder there. All I'm trying to do is just connect that earth wire to the back of that pot. That's really all we need to do. The last wire for the volume pot, I should say, is our active wire. So just press that lug down a little bit just so it's easier to get to. And obviously we need to be really careful of the finish of our guitar. If you can, just try and thread the wire through the eyelet of the lug. Just bend that back a little, and that should hold that in place for your soldered connection to be made. Again, I'm going to be very careful of the finish here. I don't want any hot solder dripping on my guitar. Just going to apply some heat to that lug first and just drip a little bit of solder on there. Test the connection. It's a good strong connection. So from here, I'll just reinstall our pot. And it's important you have good strong connection, so just check once you've completed soldering. Let's quickly connect that pot back up again. And I'm just going to secure that volume pot back in place. Next, we need to solder up our wires to our input jack. So I'm just waiting for the soldering iron to heat up again. It's always best if you have a period where you're not going to be soldering for 5, 10, 15 minutes. I'd turn the soldering iron off. It's better to reheat it. I'm just going to strip these wires back a little bit as well, and then we'll tin those as well. Just move the guitar slightly. So as I said, I want to tin both these wires, and I'll tin both lugs that we're going to connect to. So I'll just test the heat of the soldering iron. So from here, just remember our red wire is our active wire, or our hot wire. So I'm putting that to the outside lug. Just give that a twist. Our green wire is our earth, and it's going to the lug connected to the inner sleeve. So once those are both in place, just going to heat up the lug with the active wire first. And secondly, live wire. Just both of those, good and strong.